So I wasn't planning on doing a video today, and then I thought, why not? Live life on the edge. So we're taking a wee trip down the far north line today from GEORGEMAS Junction down to TAIN. So GEORGEMAS Junction, the most northerly junction in the UK, or another way of looking at it, the most least southerly junction on the rail network. But either way, quite far north. So let's see how we go on. So this direction for trains to Wick, that direction for trains to Thurso and Inverness. And today I'm taking the 1317 service to Inverness. In the interest of openness and honesty, I think it's only fair that I explain there is a little bit more to my making this video. I read a letter from an individual who stated that in his opinion the far north line was, and I quote, scenic dead. And when I read that I felt, no, that's not, I'm not having that. It felt like someone was having a go at a close friend. So the aim of this video is not to review the train itself. It's not to talk about Scotrail. I might do that, we'll see, but rather it's just to help you see what is there from the train window that you can enjoy on the far north line. Now admittedly, we're not doing the whole journey, but we're doing a good chunk of it, and hopefully you'll see that it's not a dead line when it comes to scenery, and it has a few interesting little stories along the way. So we started our journey at GEORGEMAS Junction. We're going to head inland through the flow country. More about that later. Then our train turns south and we head down the Strath of Kildonan. More about that later. We join the sea at Helmsdale, head down the coast for a little bit, then turn inland once again round the Kyle of Sutherland, travelling along the Dornoch Firth to TAIN. And possibly you're thinking, all we've seen so far is some fields with some sheep in them. But be patient. As we leave the farmlands of Caithness behind, our journey takes us through an area which could be construed as being a bit bleak, maybe a bit dead when it comes to scenery, but I don't think that's entirely fair. This is the flow country. It's the largest expanse of blanket bog in Europe. Now, what's exciting about blanket bog, you may ask? Well, not only is this area a very important habitat for wildlife, but it also plays a role in climate change. Because peat is the remains of plants and the plants are made up of carbon, this blanket bog locks up carbon for thousands of years. Otherwise that carbon would be released into the atmosphere and contribute to global warming. So important is the flow country, it's being considered as a potential World Heritage Site. I mean, just look how vast it is. And think about the individuals who had to build a railway line through this. It's just incredible. As we approach Kildonan, one of the least used stations on the National Rail network, there's a fair bit of activity happening. This is to enhance radio signalling on the far north line. 8 request stops are getting requests to stop kiosks installed. So rather than having to visually make your intention clear to the driver, if you're at a request stop, you can make your request direct to the driver's cab by using the miracle of radio. Leaving Kildonan station behind, we get a glance down the Strath of Kildonan. Believe it or not, this area was the site of Scotland's very own gold rush in 1869. Take that, California! Heading in a more direct route to Inverness along the coast, we pass Dunrobin Castle Station, which was the private station of the 3rd Duke of Sutherland. More about him later. Our brief flirtation with the A9 ends abruptly as the line turns sharply back inland. But before that, we do get to enjoy Loch Fleet, a National Nature Reserve. And in terms of scenery, I think that's pretty good. Now I said we'd return to the 3rd Duke of Sutherland. As we cross the Kyle of Sutherland at Inverness, you can possibly spot Carbisdale Castle. This was constructed in the early 1900s for Mary Caroline, the Dowager Duchess, following the death of her husband, the 3rd Duke of Sutherland. The settlement of the will ended in quite a nasty legal battle. She used her 500,000 settlement payment to build Carbisdale on the very edge of the Sutherland estate, up on a hillside so that she could look down on her late husband's family. The clock tower at Carbisdale has 3 faces, none of which are visible to the railway line, so as the new Duke passed on his private carriage on his train, he wouldn't be able to tell the time. In fact, the Duke insisted that his blinds be closed as he passed Carbisdale. Not without reason, it's also nicknamed the Castle of Spite. I'm telling you, this stuff is straight out of Jeremy Kyle. As today's journey on the Far North Line draws to a close, what can I say? Well, for me, this railway line has everything. It has history, it has family feuds, it's even had a gold rush. It's got the scenery, it has rivers and glens, mountains and lochs. What more do you want from a railway line? Now, admittedly, for most of us, it is quite a long way away to get to Inverness and to travel on this line. But honestly, look at that. It is so worth it. For some reason, the Far North Line doesn't have the glamour, or dare I say it, the promotion that the West Highland Line and the line to kind of Loch Alsh receive. But if you're a travel enthusiast, if you're a railway enthusiast, you have to do this line. It's just brilliant. And if you do plan to travel on this journey, I'd suggest doing it in springtime or summer, because it can get pretty dark pretty early during the winter in the far north of Scotland. So all that's left for me to say is thanks for watching. As you can tell, the Far North Line is pretty close to my heart. You might consider leaving a wee thumbs up on the video and a comment. I do read all the comments and reply. You might even think about subscribing. If you do, that would be wonderful. As I say, thanks so much for watching. I appreciate all your support, and I'll see you again on Tim's Travels.